I don't know how you add people. How do I do it? Happen. Ooh, there's people like, oh my god, this is my first live. I don't even know how to do it. Really brushed my teeth. Oh, hi! I was just saying I should have really brushed my teeth. I haven't brushed them
Hi,
today, but I mean since this morning. How are you?
I'm fine, live from Tel Aviv.
Oh my gosh, where it all started.
I know, over to you, Sasha. I can't believe 17 weeks ago I was introduced to you by the lovely Marcel at Mum and Me. And after
It's
working
17
with a lot of the
weeks.
girls.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
crazy. How has it even been that long? I feel like it's in the blink of an eye. Honestly, all my days since having Sadie have rolled into one.
Oh, that's amazing.
I need some serious Botox. No, no. So I will. Well, I don't really know how to start, but I will start by. Oh, funnily enough, as well. Look, I have sick on my shoulder, Amanda.
Is that sick, Sasha?
Yeah, I've only just
And
noticed.
what would you call it if you said that Sadie's positing a bit of breast milk on your shoulder?
It's not like sick. It doesn't smell like sick. Hence the reason I've not remembered to change it from this morning. But it doesn't really have a smell. It's weird. It's like
Because
a
breast milk's designed for the gut, and so many people say all the time, my best breastfed baby vomits, but they pause it, they spit up a little bit, but it's not the same as that. I'm going to vomit myself. I need to change my clothes because it's designed for a tummy.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's magic. So I will start by saying for those of you that can join us, I was introduced to Amanda through the eyes of a parent by the wonderful Marcel at the Mum and Me app. I was, how many weeks pregnant was I, Amanda? Uh,
I think it was 30. I normally meet mums around 36 weeks, and Marcel was like, got this lovely lady called Sasha, and she wants to breastfeed, and I want to put her forward to sort of work with you. Are you interested in taking anyone on? I said, oh, it sounds great. When's she due? She went, I think she's like having a baby like in a week or two. So she's full term basically. Basically.
well, I know. Well, the thing is, I'd left. I didn't know any. My friends, some of my friends had breastfed, some hadn't. I hadn't even given it a second thought. Like anything in my life, I just leave things till everything till last minute. I just was like, yeah, I want to try it. It's something I want to do, whether I do or not. Like, I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. But then the closer it got to it, I suddenly started to panic, and I was like, I actually don't know what I'm doing. Is it as easy as just whacking a baby on the breast? Like, what what does it entail basically? And I did have a mad panic. Reached out to, then spoke to Marcel. Marcel's like, we've got this wonderful woman. Would you like me to put you in touch with her? And I was like, yes, please, anything for some guidance. And then I realised there was a lot more to it in the initial stages. I didn't even know about colostrum collecting, which is just like, as you say, liquid gold. And for those, and this is a little bit of TMI, but what was I like at the beginning? I couldn't even touch my own boobs. I
Oh
had a
no.
really weird sensation where I'm a big advocate for like checking your breasts regularly as well. Um, and things like that. Yeah, even when I go to check my breasts, like I could only at that point get so far without it making me feel. I used to feel all my pain in my boobs and my vagina. Like if things ever went through me on TV, I'd be like, ah, like that's where I felt that weird sensation. They're the areas I felt it, and so I couldn't even touch my own boobs after a certain point without it giving me that feeling like I was going to be sick. I cannot explain it. However, so God knows how I would have lasted with breastfeeding had I not slowly introduced that in with you. I think it would have just, the sensation I think would have just been too much, overstimulating, which I get quite easily. So yeah, colostrum collecting, we did that. It took a while, and I remember being quite frustrated not being able to get anything at the beginning. And then as soon as I got my first drop, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And it's so funny, those precious few little drops. And then now to having like full on milk is just, I just couldn't envision getting to this day. But you were there guiding me all the way, which was just great. And now I
No,
can feel my own boobs, which is amazing.
but you know, with the syringes, I'm working with, I've helped. I'm working with another mum at the moment. You might have seen the story a day or so ago. I think she's got like 100 syringes, and it's great. It's amazing. She's also
100.
13. Yeah. She started at 37 weeks, and she's just got a ton of milk of syringes. But what I need to say is, whether or not you've got one drop, whether you've got one syringe,
Yeah.
whether you've got 150 syringes, you know, I'm always only recommending that we go into hospital with about 5 syringes, just for the very beginning start. You know, obviously it's more about teaching the mums to hand express, like I did with you, and
Yeah.
work through that, you know, that feeling, because you know yourself, you hand expressed on my program for 6 weeks post birth, and from the time Sadie was born, we topped up in the first 5 days the colostrum syringes, and then after that we didn't use syringes, but by hand expressing before and after the feed really enabled her to latch easier, stopped any spit up, and more so, you know, you had no engorgement, you had, you know, heavy breasts on day 3 with the milk came in, but there was no real pain, and there was no engorgement and mastitis, because we'd always made sure that the breasts were clear before she latched on. So yeah, they only take a few syringes into hospital, but you've got them all for when you come home for blocked tear duct or extra, you know, using for the skin, and yeah. So it was just it's just the idea that we would start the process off on the program to hand express, because of post birth what we really want. And somebody may have one and somebody may have 50, but it is the run up to starting, and also to allow the mum to feel like, I'm breastfeeding mum, I've got milk, it's coming, and my baby's almost here. As if
Yeah.
37 weeks would start, or, you know, at that point.
Yeah. It feels so. It feels like yesterday, but also a really long time ago. Weird. I have no concept of time. It's good to do this live because obviously my journey wasn't as easy as some people's. I didn't realize that everyone's is so different. Um, Can you hear my dog barking? Lenny's been here from day one.
Lenny.
All day. Lenny, shut up. Um, my so Sadie was born, she was tongue tied, she wasn't latching properly, and then obviously with the NHS they're amazing, but it takes a really long time for the referral and for it to have the procedure done. So we went private, and luckily was able to get it done within like 4 days. But within those 4 days, obviously all the fees that she has, she'd really blistered me. It was so painful. It felt like glass. So then I got the shields, which I didn't even know existed. My friend had briefly mentioned them to me, but obviously until you're in the midst of it, you're just like, oh yeah. And they helped so much. And I've
It's on my
since
list.
been,
It's on my list of shields. It's nothing wrong with using the shields. I gave you the list. Can we do a shout out for the tongue tie people? Because I was
yeah,
recommended
they were
to them
great.
by my 2 clients in Manchester, and
Mm.
they said that they were brilliant. Is it TT Clinic? And I got in touch with them to find out for you.
Is it
And
infant? I think it's
it,
infant.
it was infant TT, I think. And I got in touch with them, and they were great. I was like, we can't wait. We're not waiting another day. And I do, as
Yeah.
you know, when we first met in pregnancy, I told you, if there's any issue with really, really sore breastfeeding, there's any issue with jaundice, there's any issue with, you know, reduction of nappies, these are the telltale signs. We don't want a midwife or even a paediatrician to say, we're not quite sure. We don't want to be told we can go and see someone and have a tongue tie division in 3 weeks. We really, really
No, and
want
it
to
was
make sure
because of
the
you
problems are gone.
on day one in the hospital that because you had John videoing me my breastfeeding,
Yeah.
and then said it to you. You were like, is she tongue tied? And they hadn't even picked up on it. Had it not been for you, I don't know whether they would have, whether I would have ever thought to ask that. And it did, although I was in pain for those initial 4 days, it did save me a lot of pain in the long
They
run.
were great, weren't they? They were great. They divided the tongue tie. I also like the fact when I spoke to the woman on the phone, she was really clear that, you know, it's an assessment. If there's no tongue tie division needed, I've got loads of people I recommend in London, and I've built up quite a few tongue tie referral people. But I didn't have anyone in the north, and it was my lovely client Sonny, who the little boy's turning 1 tomorrow. We worked together last July, and in January, food and sleep, and she went to them because we also had a problem with Marcus with the tongue tie, and they were brilliant. And so that was my go-to. And even though the Manchester clinic, we missed it by 1 day, you very, very cleverly drove to Liverpool, didn't you, to see them on the Saturday?
Yeah, because we just wanted to get it done as quick as possible, really. And they were, like I say, they were great. And I also went for a follow up a few weeks ago, and they were just as brilliant. Then gave her, a thorough examination. Watched my latch, watched my feeder on the bottle and on the boob, and just like they were really thorough. So I would recommend them to anyone. Yeah, they were
And
great.
the shields were great, Sasha. And we used the shields for a few
Yeah,
weeks. And
and I
there's
just want to
nothing wrong with using shields if
no,
we
and I
need
want to
them.
emphasize the use of shields because because she'd hurt them so much, I then used shields for about a week or so. No, actually about 2 weeks. Lenny,
Yeah.
shush. Um, and then there was this weird thing where she wouldn't then take the boob without them, so that was a whole fucking palaver.
We
To
worked through them. She took the boob without them when the milk was a bit stronger and a bit easier and she was more sleepier. So we
yeah,
found in the middle of the night and the early morning was really quite easy. And we just struggled a bit when she was clustering or witching hours and the milk was more depleted and she was a bit more fractious,
yeah,
as Sassy Sadie. Sassy
it is.
was a bit more fractious, as most babies are in the evenings, in the witching hours, cluster feeding, we call it for that reason.
Yeah.
And so it was really, really helpful. I just got you through those, what I call, well, they weren't nice, were they, Sasha?
No, they were horrendous. We were in the trenches for sure. People
You
used
did
to
want to
say,
punch them. You did want to punch me, but then you said you didn't want to punch me. You did want to, I physically
no.
felt it through the phone that you wanted to go, tell her to shut up. You did.
I think because it was our first child, we've never experienced it before. Now I know what to expect, but at the time you're like searching for answers when really it's just sort of a rhythm of what these big newborns do. The fourth trimester, they want to be with you all the time. They don't want to be put down. They're learning, you're learning. Whereas now, if I was to do it again, I'd be like, okay, I've experienced this before. I know it's fine. But yeah, maybe I would just want to punch her just a couple of times.
And I was lucky enough to come and
Joking.
see you. I was lucky enough to pop in and see you because you're local to me and I don't get a chance to do that. So I did pop in one evening just for half an hour or so. And it was at that point where it was so vital that you just really understood, both you and John, that holding a skin to skin, that being in a
Yeah,
sling, that getting really aware of what those evenings were and preparing for them. Is so often when people, like you said, throw the towel in because they're like, there's got to be a problem with my baby. And
yeah.
actually, there isn't a problem. It's just the milk's depleted. And it's great at 11 p.m. and it's brilliant at 2 a.m. and it's flipping marvelous
Yeah,
at
and
5 a.m.
I don't think everybody knows this that like in the evening, yeah, as you say, your milk is depleted, and so your baby is super fussy, quite whiny, whingy for the most part. And that's what I did say to you. I understand now why I can see why people do at this point think I can't do this. I'm gonna throw the towel in. It's not giving up because it's a tough thing at all. So
Oh,
I don't begrudge anybody who doesn't want to do it because it's difficult. But if you can just push through that and understand that it's understanding your breast milk, what happens at different times of the day, why it is the way it is, and why your baby's responding the way it is, and that's how you then keep like consistent and can move forward with it. That's it. I honestly think if I didn't have you guiding me through this process, especially being my first, I wouldn't have carried on because you you're shattered, you're knackered, you're looking for a quick fix, you're looking for anything basically that will calm them down and sort them out. But once you understand your body and why it's doing the way it does, it's easier then to go, okay, I can get through this. Tomorrow's another day. Like I
and look at the
understand now.
positives. We had no constipation.
No
We
constipation.
have no illnesses. We've got no atopic issues. We've got no real sick. She's not, bless her, she's 14 weeks today. Yeah, today.
Tuesday today. Yes, today.
Today, 14 weeks today. Wow. And other than the snuffle that she fought through the immunity and antibodies of your own milk while you've been ill for 2 days, lying there with gastro and all sorts of issues, Sadie swum right through that with an amazing immune system. And that is not easy to build, but it's done because of sheer and utter hard work. And on my program, I would say the prep before the baby's born is vital because we want to teach mums about colostrum. We want to teach mums about hand expressing. We want to teach mums through the program about what to expect with breastfeeding. The first 5 days, I would say, as my clients say, is sheer and utter graft because
Yeah.
I've got you waking the baby every 90 minutes, haven't I? I've got
Oh
you
my
not
God,
going more than
Amanda, I'm
two.
so sorry to interrupt, but when you actually said to me, myself and John, oh, I'm going to have you waking her up every 90 minutes, we were like, this woman is nuts. Why would you wake a baby every 90 minutes? Why would you? But actually, she was, her jaundice flushed out completely because of that.
Gone, 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 gone,
We
gone.
were using the syringes, topping her up after a feed, and there was like no sign of it after 5 days. It
No
was
jaundice, her nappies were well over what I wanted. I wanted the milk in with a natural delivery. I mean, you had a little difficult birth, but you had a natural delivery. I wanted the milk
an
in by
awful time to
about
get
day,
there.
which I wanted the milk in by about day 2.5. Your milk was in by day 1.5. You know, if I remember rightly, she'd gained her birth weight back pretty much from day 5. It went up and up and up and up, and it was just just a journey of watching her thrive on your breast milk, whilst at the same time your milk supply in a very small amount to suit her tummy size. So it was all really. So once she gained the birth weight back, if you remember, we went to every 2 hours. And
Yeah,
then once she gained again on day 10, we went to about 2.5. And by the time the midwife discharged her at 2 weeks, I think we were on every 3 hours at night and every 2.5 by day as a recommendation, not according to what Sadie was choosing, but that would have been something that I would be very happy to sort of say is realistic. You know, if the
yeah,
baby's doing already doing well at that point, but up to that point, it's vital that we wake the babies because they can be sleepy,
yeah,
the milk tummy's tiny, and by constantly drip feeding the breast milk with the baby that's not sleepy, we are flushing the jaundice away super quick. And the job of the breast milk is to do that. So if you've got a sleepy baby who's being left to sleep for 4 hours, even though some of the midwives, as we know, would say it's okay to do that,
yeah.
we know then we've got a problem with a baby that's not feeding well. So you know, we did ignore some advice, didn't we?
Yeah, there's such a, 1 second, I'm just, he's gone
Where
off.
is he? Oh, love him.
I
Lord.
keep hearing, I don't, people can probably hear him in the background. Oof, oof. There's so many conflicting, contradicting advice out there from, my midwives and healthcare visitors have been lovely, but there's so many of them said different things and conflicting things, and you're like, who am I supposed to listen to? Who is actually like, you're all working under the same umbrella, but you're all telling me different things. Just tiny things, and you're like, well, the other person didn't say that. So it's a minefield, and ultimately, you have to figure out what works for you as well. To be fair, once you find your rhythm and trust your instincts, and you know your baby and their feeding cues, and as long as do your research, I would say, and obviously follow you because, okay, people might not necessarily do the fortunate enough to do the plan with you, guiding them every step of the way. But your page is so helpful, and just having different mums on there with different journeys is reassuring because not every journey is the same. And as I say, people have conflicting advice, and had I not had you, I just wouldn't have known. I needed you to just sort of keep me on the focus path because I would have, yeah, divvied off, I think. I'm really
And you have
lucky.
the mums as well. You know, I put you on the WhatsApp group for the mums, and the ones that work with me don't all have platinum package because you know it's so Mr. Jack, so it's not affordable. But my silver package is more affordable. But again, you've got the support from the other mums, you
Yeah,
know, on board to try and help mums. And like I said to you, you know, my aim is to get the program online. Like every time I do a live with anybody that's in the media, I bloody well say this, and then I always get told, you know, so when are you doing your online program? So you know, it is definitely in the making, and I know it. And I know what's more important to me is the fact that you know, giving the information when I can, like things like these lives. So I just have to say really quickly, randomly, I spoke to a lady this morning who just reached out to me, and she just said that she'd watched the live with Charlotte
yeah,
after Gigi, and she'd watched the live with Whitney, my client that I introduced you to, with Alfie, who was born in January, and she was going to watch our live too. And it was just wonderful to hear that she has a 10-week-old baby now and is exclusively breastfeeding. I've not actually spoken to her other than her to say to me just what we talked about on those two lives, and hopefully now
yeah,
actually she followed everything down to grabbing the information about the colostrum, reaching, checking it out, followed as much as she could that we threw out that on those lives. And Charlotte and I would be like, right. We were on for an hour, I think. And
yeah,
she just said, I'm an exclusively breastfeeding mum because of you and because of your breastfeeding program. Even though I didn't have it, she's going to do a lovely video testimonial, which is really nice of her.
Oh, that's
It
really
is
from
nice,
from
but
seeing you on Instagram,
yeah,
basically.
just from the live, and everyone told you had constipation. And one doctor told her lactulose. Another midwife told her Movacol. She didn't listen to anybody, and she stuck at it. And she went,
Yeah.
"He's 10 weeks old. I think it's a girl or a boy. I don't know." And I'm an exclusively breastfeeding mum, and
Oh,
I'm
that's
moving.
amazing.
Yeah, so it's about hopefully getting the information out there, not just always about working and earning the money via the clients. Luckily, my clients are all referrals, and the referrals are coming in daily for food, sleep, breastfeeding, toddlers, older children, and I'm grateful beyond. I'm doing this 40 years, but what's more important is being able to get as much information out
Yeah,
in these sorts of times and have people reach out if they're really struggling, because the aim here is that people will breastfeed their children and have some form of support and knowledge of how to go forward with it, because
yeah,
it's upsetting if you've got the knowledge and you're holding it back, and another baby might suffer with various issues with formula, when
yeah.
we can maybe allow someone to have a bit of an easy time. So yeah, these lives are really important for things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I have a friend actually who, and there's nothing wrong with this. This is her own words. She said she formula fed her first baby, and it was absolutely fine. It was an absolutely fine journey. Luckily, he was fine. But she only didn't breastfeed because she didn't know enough about it, how like the benefits of it, the nutritional value, like the bonding. Like she said she just had never, the women around her hadn't done it, and so she didn't know enough about it. And when she had a second, she did, and she said it was the best thing she'd ever done. And she wants to like spread the word as well, and I do because it is amazing if you can, if you
Go
can.
on, tell me about your story. We know we had a little bit of a moment, didn't we, where we went on to pumping. Maybe we talk a little bit about pumping then, about the 4 weeks
Yeah,
and
so
why.
I wanted to start pumping because John wanted to obviously be able to feed Sadie as well. And I now know it's quite a common thing that breastfed babies go through a stage where they might not gain any weight, but at the time we were panicking. We had a check at the doctor's. He was really concerned that she hadn't like gained any weight. We're not really concerned, but slightly concerned. And he said, okay, I'd like you to start pumping as well so that you can do a few bottles so you know exactly how much she's getting. Because basically what was happening is she wasn't gaining any weight, but she was feeding for like an hour and a half on me and then only having an hour gap. She was just using me as a pacifier a little bit as well, I think. Um, and so that was for me a way of monitoring what she was consuming. And it also meant John could participate, and we had like a wedding coming up where my mum was going to look after her and I needed to sort of free some stuff.
It's
So I
great.
was
It's
like
really
desperate
fun.
to do. Yeah, I was desperate to do it straight away. But obviously, you recommended waiting until 4 to 6 weeks when your milk has fully
four
established.
weeks plus, I'm
4 weeks.
happy with.
And I was like, why do I need to wait till that time? But now I understand you can do it before, but it's important to establish your milk supply first.
So yeah, so basically, if you're going to pump because there's a problem with the baby or the mum at the birth, then that's fine. If you've got a jaundice issue, there is a tongue tie issue that hasn't been divided, and the baby's struggling, is not losing weight, again, you're not gaining weight. More so, there's a reduction in the nappies, or there's urates in the nappy, which obviously indicates the baby's not getting the milk. Then you're not going to mess around. Then I've worked with a lot of clients where we've had to pump from the beginning, but I've pumped and fed the baby with a nipple shield on the other side. We've topped the baby up with the pumped milk, and then as we've dealt with the problem, whatever that problem might be, we've then slowly reduced the amount of pumping, and then the mums have pumped twice a day, which my mums do at 4 weeks anyway, suggesting there's no problem and everything is swinging along nicely. Then my program, of course, is when I rejoin you back at 4 weeks or 5, or if you're Charlotte Dawson, nearly 6, where you're like, you're doing it tonight, right? Because obviously you don't take a bottle as well then, and then we will then just pump early morning, late evening when the milk is high in prolactin, and the baby will feed at the same time. And then from that point, we can give a bottle in the evening as a top up. You can pop out to hairdressers, go to a wedding. We can use a
Yeah, that's another
dummy.
thing with frigging hairdressers. Takes like 4 hours, and you need.
You go use a dummy, and the reason why I'm quite strong on that reasons of not wanting to do that early on is because your milk's designed to suit the baby's tummy. And when you've got tiny amounts of milk, it's all about establishing your milk supply. And if you pump too early or use a dummy too early, there's chances that the baby's not going to go to breast as much, sleep more, and then we have possibly an issue where the milk supply is not as established as well. So all I'm trying to hope for is that a mum will get to 4 weeks. At the earliest I've done it is 3.5, when people have said to me, I'm jumping out the window tonight or I'm stopping breastfeeding. I'm like, we'll see you later, right? But equally, it might be
That was
getting the mum through.
me.
That was you. But it might be equally getting a mum through that 4th week. Just is almost going to get there. We've covered the growth spurts at 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 to 8. We've whizzed through that 4th week, and
Yeah.
then we're ready to go. And then, of course, you can pretty much do what you want. You are going to have a much easier time until 6 to 8 weeks. We've got another growth spurt. That was a big one. Need to establish the milk more. And then we've
Yeah.
got, of course, the 4 month regression coming up, which I can't
But
change. It's
I didn't realize, obviously, before I did this, that so your baby obviously makes the milk that's right for your baby. So, say if your baby's got a cold or any sickness, your body produces the antibodies for the baby. If it's like when I messaged you and it was really hot, well, it's been hot this week, but when it was first really hot, and I was like, do I need to give her extra water? And you said, no, your body makes it more watery because it goes with the temperature of your body and your temperature of your baby, which blows my mind. But that's why it's important to keep putting them on the breast even when you're pumping, because then your body can um, get the hormones and
And what happened with your situation is you did pumping a bit more, and I put a plan in place for you that worked really well because I just felt like you were a few weeks in. I've only got to get you till 6 months. I was thinking it's going to be fine, and I just
get there.
thought it's a means to an end just for a short period, and then of course everything's been great. Gained tons of weight, nappies galore, and then you said to me this morning how you felt, which was really I was so proud and really
Yeah, because I,
wanted
I've
to
got
see.
I got through in a bit of a stage of just pumping for a little while, just 'cause it was convenient. I just got to a bit of routine, and then all of a sudden I had this overwhelming feeling of like, oh, I really miss her on the boob.
And then,
I
yeah.
really missed her having on there, which was one feeling, and then also just like um, keeping up my milk, because I noticed that if I didn't have her on as much, I felt like I wasn't producing as much milk.
And approximately 5 times about more when a baby's skin to skin on the breast, you're
Mm.
going to stimulate the letdowns naturally through the hormones rather than a pump. But no matter how brilliant the pump is, and the Lancino we know has been
Yeah, it's been
amazing,
amazing.
amazing. It's not going to be the same as a baby on the breast. So obviously, her feeding from you is going to be ultimately getting
Yeah.
the what she genuinely needs maximum. The pump, of course, is just addition and the added, extra relaxation and going out and leaving your baby's fine. But it was just nice for you to say, oh, Amanda, it felt really strange.
I
And where are you
know.
now? Where are you now, Sasha?
I know. I can't, I can't believe I'm at this point. Honestly, it's not been easy, but it's been so worth it. I will say. And just before like we wrap it up and stuff, because it's just nice to know that everybody's journey isn't easy. I hope it is for as many people as possible, but if it isn't, like you can still get to this point, and it does level out. Like I am living proof that it does. Um, it's okay if you feel like you can't carry on. That's absolutely fine too. It's your choice. But if you've got a little bit left in you to go, I will say just keep going, because you will reach a point where you're like, oh, now I feel in a rhythm. I don't feel tied down by this. It doesn't feel stressful. My baby's gaining weight. I can see the benefits of doing it, and that's where I'm at now, which I never thought would get to this point.
It's quite incredible. We're 14 weeks today. So we're going to have a bit of a chat in a couple of weeks before. I know that's going to be challenging. And there's probably going to be some conversation where you're going to say, do I need to introduce formula? Do I need to start food early? You're
Yeah.
going to have all these people giving this information, perhaps, generations, people that, have tried different things. What I can say is a healthy developmental stage you're going to go through, or Sadie's going to go through. We're going to have a few days where you need to stimulate the milk a bit more to establish it. We're going to whiz you over to nearly 5 months. And then hopefully I'm going to be back with you in October for food and sleep.
Which feels ages
Um,
away, but I know by the time that comes, we'll be like, how are we here?
Yeah, it's less than 2 months. We're going to do a run up to starting with the vegetables, the porridge. It's going to be maintaining your breastfeeding, and you still use your bottle if you want. We'll get the baby onto a cot. Yeah, we'll teach her to sleep through the night. She'll eat amazing amounts of food because she'll be ready. Because she will be 6 months plus, and she will be ready to sort of make that transition. But this, yeah, this journey can be really, really tough and challenging, and so time consuming, but so vital.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been amazing. I am really, really proud. I was super proud even when I met you and you just said, look, I just want to try. It feels right to do that for the baby. I was like, well, that made me proud. I'm more prouder of you because it's not been easy. And with other clients, it might be really easy, and the fact that you didn't give up. We stuck at it. I knew that you could, and yeah, and just delighted. She's nearly four
Oh,
months old.
Amanda, thank you so much.
We want you
No,
to
I can't
record
thank
this
you
now.
enough. Honestly, I can't. Any minute of any day, you're just in there for me to text about everything, and it's been honestly,
I try my best to
so
sort of get back to people when I can because I know I don't. I'm. It's on my conscience that you'd be like, didn't do it. But I can sort of just wrap it up and say, yes, follow my page is great. Join through the as a parent. I've got a Facebook group as well, which is not active
yeah.
at the moment. It's not been active, but there are like 2,500 people on there, and all my clients on there, and we share like loads of stories and videos and food and sleep journeys. I work in with the mums in pregnancy, first of all. Then they have the feeding program. Then we have the food at 6 months and sleep together. We've got toddlers program, and I have an older children's program, which is normally 2.5 to 3 year olds
Oh, do
plus.
you? I didn't know.
Yeah. Magic listening program. I love working with the older children. It's really a lot of fun. But they go on to dealing with all their sleep issues, separation anxiety, food, behaviour, boundaries.
Oh,
Great fun. Yeah, I did it with Brooke.
is that the one you did with Brooke? Oh.
Oh, so fun.
Oh God, but that was chaotic.
It was brilliant. So if you can make sure you record this, save this, Sasha, then it will go
I'm
on
gonna
your.
try. I don't know how to do that. Someone please tell me in the comments because
When
I
we say goodbye, it gives you the.
does it give you the option? Oh, Amanda, I can't hear you.
Do you believe I'm being disturbed on a live on Instagram by another person? It
How
you
rude.
it gives you the chance to save it, and then it gives you the chance to make me a collaborator. I accept it. Then it'll be on my grid, on your grid, and then I can maybe people can reach out if
Okay.
they want to and see it.
Everyone,
But
please
100%
go and follow Amanda because she's the baby whisperer. I kid you not.
well, we'll see in October if you say that.
Are you just going to be with me now with my kids all through till like the 21?
You're doing amazing. I'm going to be gone. You're doing amazing. I know we'll have a chat in a couple of weeks, I'm sure. And then it will be a case of joining you at 5 months for an initial consultation to address her new schedule of how things are, the run up to starting with food and sleep. And then it'll be in the diary for 24 weeks onwards, and we'll start at 26 weeks when the baby's ready to go into her own room, to not co-sleep anymore, to be able to reduce the milk that she needs but still maintain, and more importantly, to be able to establish onto solids calmly, gently, and with all the allergen exposure, and a great journey ahead, basically. Looking forward to it.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much, Amanda.
It's a
Mwah.
pleasure. Mwah. It's
Lots of
been
love.
amazing.
Thank you. I wish she was here to show you. Well, half show her. I don't show her face, but I could show her body. But I've had to drop her off at my nana. She's unpredictable. Is Sassy Sada. We might not have got through this live if she was here. She's very vocal, that's for sure. Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm so
It's
scared to
been.
come off this and not save it. Do I just exit and then hope for the
Can we
best?
say goodbye? How professional are we? We say goodbye and we
Yeah,
say
bye.
goodbye. We say bye, and then it gives you the opportunity to save it.
Okay. Bye, lovely. Mwah, bye.